Song, and today I will be reading to you from Beneath the Surface by Unnamed Untold. Before we get on to the next chapter, here is the warnings. Depression, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempt, anorexia, bulimia, and vulgar language. Now, on to Chapter 12, Day 18. I was sitting out in the field in front of my house, playing with the bunnies. They would hop on me and hop back off, or chase each other around me. A few of the final babies for the year curled up in my lap and slept peacefully. The sky was clear, the weather was nice, and not a predator in sight. So I was confused as to why they all suddenly hopped away in fear. I turned to my left and just about jumped out of my skin. "Good Lord, Vanya!" I shouted as I stood. "Just stab me in the heart, it'll be quicker." "You are too easy to sneak up on lately. Imagine if your past self saw you now." He teased lightly. "I'm sorry, I'm supposed to trust my boyfriend not to try to kill me via heart attack. I mean, you are only supposed to love and protect and support me." I sighed dramatically. He rolled his eyes and looked at me with a sly smirk. "So the hero needs someone to protect him now, duh?" Shut up! I don't need anyone to protect me. I protect others," I shouted, slightly embarrassed. I huffed and crossed my arms. "Anyway, what can I do for you?" "I actually need you to run into town for me. I was expecting a package for here, but I got the call saying that it is at the local post office because they could not find the address." "Yeah, I'm pretty far out here," I agreed. "Sure, I don't see why not. I'll need you to call the post office to let them know you're sending someone. I can't just take your mail. It's considered a federal offense. Sucks they didn't call earlier when I was already in town." I cried. "Duh, I am sorry. I would get it myself, but I do not know where the post office is, and I do not think you want me to waste gas. Especially at these prices," he explained with a small smile. "Yeah, I get you, dude." I ran a hand through my hair, being careful for Nantucket. "I'll pick it up in a few minutes. Anything else I might need to pick up while I'm out there? I really don't want to make a third trip within the next couple of days." "Yet, I do not think so." He shook his head. "All right, then, I'll get my jacket and head out," I said, jogging up to the house. I didn't need the jacket since it was rather warm out. I wanted it, however, to hide my scarred arms, since I was in a Batman t-shirt. I'm not ashamed of them, I just don't want people's pity. The two big new ones are healing along just fine, but I didn't want people staring at them or trying to avoid eye contact whenever they noticed them. It's not a nice feeling. I grabbed my jacket from the closet and the keys from the key rack. The key rack was a gift from Italy about 10 years ago and is pasta themed. I get in my car and 2 minutes later I'm driving to town. About an hour later and I'm getting into town. The place was nice and quiet today with very little traffic. I had to drive around a little to remember exactly where the post office was. I finally found it between a flower shop and a small pet store. I can't believe I didn't see it earlier. It's a small gray and blue building with a small flower basket hanging by the window. It looked like it could use a new coat of paint sometime within the next couple of years. I walk in to see the place decorated with a painting and a potted plants next to the desk. Behind the counter stood an older man with graying hair and a handlebar mustache. "Hey there, young'un. Don't reckon I've seen you here before," he greeted. "No, sir. I just showed up around these parts about 3 weeks ago, on vacation in a house owned by my family with a friend as well. He actually sent me into town to pick up a package for him, I explained to the man. Ah, you must be Alfred. A young man by the name of Ivan called me nearly an hour ago, said you'd be here. Wait right here for a moment, lad, and I'll get it for you, he said, going into the back room. He reappeared a moment later with a small box. This is it right here, I believe. Package for Mr. Ivan Bragensky. Yes, sir, that's it, I said, taking the small box from him. Have a good day, sir. You too, Alfred. He waved. I set the package in the passenger seat and go to get in the driver's seat when I notice something bright out of the corner of my eye. I look up at the flower shop to see that the person had just set sunflowers out in the window. I thought over all Ivan has done for me in the past couple of weeks and decided to get him a few as a thank you. I change course and head into the shop. There, I'm greeted by a young lady. She is blonde and wearing a blue dress with a white apron over it. A few cats roamed around the shop, and one sat next to her. Hello, and welcome to Alice in Gardenland. How may I help you today? She greeted. I saw that you have some sunflowers here. Can you wrap a few in a bouquet for me? I asked her. Why, of course I will. Do you mind me asking who it's for? She asked while grabbing a few out of the water bucket that kept them fresh. No, not at all. It's for a certain special someone that's waiting for me at home, I told her with a bright smile. Oh, a lovely lady, I presume, she giggled as she picked out colorful tissue paper to wrap them in. No, I'm hella gay, so more like a lovely guy. I rubbed the back of my neck. Oh, really? Is it safe to presume that these are his favorites? She asked as she handed them over to me. Actually, yes, for as long as I've known him, he's always loved sunflowers the best, I say with a fond smile. Have you known him for a long time? She asked. Yeah, I met him when I was just a kid. He was a bit older than me, so we didn't always run in the same circles, but when we did, we always had fun together. We kind of had a falling out after a while and hated each other, or at least that's what we thought. We recently became friends again and are even making an attempt at a relationship, I told her. Don't know why I told her everything, but it felt nice to talk about it. I don't really have that many people to talk about things like this to, so I guess that's why. Oh my, well, I'm glad you two are trying to make things work and are friends again. And I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds by asking this, but does your family support you? She asked me, worried. I know why she asked. Whenever a citizen meets their nation, they feel a subconscious pull to help them and take care of them. I just really wish she hadn't. Yes and no, I admitted hesitantly. What do you mean? They don't care that I'm dating another guy, they just don't like him. My parents wanted me to break up with him, and we got into a fight over it. My brother also wanted me to break up with him, but he accepted him because he makes me happy, I said and looked down with a sad smile. Well, I'm glad at least one person in your family supports you all the way, and I hope your parents end up seeing how happy you are. And I know I just met you, but in the few minutes that we've talked, I've noticed that you've smiled every time you've mentioned him. I can tell he makes you very happy, she said supportively. Thanks, that means a lot, and I hope so too. I grinned. So, how much do I owe you, miss? You know what? It's on the house, just for you. She waved her hand. What? No way, I couldn't accept such a generous offer. I tried to decline. No, think of it as Thanks for relieving my boredom with an interesting story, she insisted. Okay, if you say so, I accepted shyly. Thank you so much for the flowers, ma'am. You can call me Alice, she told me as I left. Okay, see you later, Alice. I waved, and she waved back. I got into the car and carefully set the flowers down on the passenger side. I looked at them, and a big grin came to my face. I pulled out of the parking spot and headed for home. An hour later, I pulled up to the house and noticed that the living room lights weren't on, which was weird since they were always on when one of us was awake. I knew he wasn't asleep since it's only 6:13 by my phone. I stepped inside and announced my presence. The only source of light came from the kitchen and the fireplace in the living room. I was surprised there was actually a fire in it. I took my sneakers and jacket off with a plan to investigate why. Oh, Frederica, you're back sooner than I expected. Ivan appeared in the doorway. Change of plans, I'll ask him instead. What do you have there in your arms? He asked, approaching me. Oh, these are for you. To show my appreciation for all you've done for me lately, I got you some sunflowers, I said, holding out the bouquet. He took them and looked at them fondly. He turned to the side and put them in a tall vase I had on the table in the small hall. I put the box next to it on the floor. They are beautiful. Thank you, Frederica. You're welcome, big guy. I blushed and looked away shyly. Hey, why is the only light coming from the kitchen? I asked, trying to peer around him. He caught my chin and made me look at him. It came to my attention recently that we haven't gone on a real date yet, he said while walking backwards. I decided that wouldn't stand for long, so I organized this while you were in town. He turned to reveal the kitchen. It was transformed into a place that you would find at a high-end restaurant. Candles were lit to set the mood. Rose petals were littered about. A few roses stood in a vase in the center of the island. Delicious-looking food was on the table, and there were even bottles of what looked like wine. I also heard that you've never been on a date before, so I tried to do this right for you. I know you don't really want to be out in public right now too often, so I made this for you. Do you like it? He asked, nervousness clear in his voice. Vanya, this is beautiful, I said in awe. You did all of this for me? Da. You shouldn't have. This must have been so much effort, especially to keep it a secret from me. I started off, but he cut me off with a kiss. You deserve to be shown that you're worth putting effort into. You deserve to be treated. Don't say that I shouldn't have done this, he told me. Now come and eat with me, Frederica. The main course will take a few more minutes to prepare, but I made an appetizer to start with. He took me by the hand and led me to my seat. He pulled the chair back for me and everything. It was so sweet. The whole time I'm blushing like crazy and looking away shyly. No one has ever put this much effort in for me. I don't mean a deal between America and another country. I don't mean someone fulfilling their end of the bargain. I mean someone going out of their way to do something grand for me, Alfred. This is amazing, I tell him as he puts something on my plate. I looked down to see what it was, and it was a fruit salad with all my favorite fruits and Cool Whip. It was a common dish I ate a lot lately to keep my blood sugar levels in check. You're so sweet. Not as sweet as you, Moya Loyabov. He gently brushed his knuckles against my cheek. I turn away with a big smile on my face. I pick up a fork and start eating my salad. It was sweet with a slight hint of sour. I enjoyed every bite of it. I had finished it within a matter of moments. Ivan chuckled fondly from where he sat across from me. I put my fork down and blushed again. Sorry if I mess up something. I've never been on a date before. I know he knows, but for some reason I felt the need to repeat it. Do not fret, Zoyabov. A date is meant to be relaxing and for us to enjoy each other's company. He reassured me. Right, I'll do that. What did you make for the main course anyway? I asked him as I glanced at the stove. I couldn't tell from my position, but it only needed to be cooked in a pan. It smelled delicious, though. Those steaks I insistedly buy yesterday. I'm not sure how you like yours, though, he said, getting up and walking over to the stove. I like it rare. That's how Vivika would cook our meals when I was little, I told him with a distant smile. In that case, they're done. He brought the pan over to me and put the chunk of meat on my plate. He put his on his plate and returned the pan to the stove. He grabbed a bowl that was sitting on the counter and brought it to me. It was filled with greasy green beans that had been fried and seasoned. Next, he put on my plate a loaded baked potato. Wow, Ivan, are you trying to make me fat? I laughed, a small blush being on my face from being catered to. Yet, this is supposed to be a nice dinner. I want you to enjoy it. He then picked up the bottle of red wine. I know you don't like drinking in your country because it is illegal for you to, but I think we can make an exception this one time, he said, pouring a glass for me. Just this once, I said playfully. Just this once, he agreed and sat down again. It all looks and smells good, I complimented. I cut off a piece to try it. I moaned when I tasted it. It's freaking delicious too. How'd you make it taste that good? Spasibo. I used a recipe that Franz taught me a few years ago, he told me with a slight blush. That explains the cooking skills. He grinned and laughed. Why were you taking a steak cooking lesson from him anyway? It was going to be my little sister's birthday in a few days, and I wanted to treat her. She really liked it. I thought you might as well. Well, you thought correct. I took another mouthful and groaned again. Is it really that good? He asked as he watched me dig into the steak. Oh, yeah. So, what was in the box you had me get? I asked as I pointed to the forgotten package. Actually, he started as he grabbed it. It is a gift for you. He handed me the box. I half-heartedly glared at him for a moment. You made me drive 2 hours to pick up my own gift. I needed you out of the house for a while. This is, as you Americans say, kill two birds with one stone. He shrugged with a small smile on his face. You're an asshole, I laughed. I used my no longer needed steak knife to open the package. I looked in to see a bunch of smaller boxes inside. As expected, I was curious, so I picked one of them up and opened it. Inside was a long leather glove that went up to my elbow. It looked like my normal gloves that I wore to meetings, only newer and longer. I put them down and pulled out another package. This one had black cloth gloves that had no fingers, so was held in place by a thin bridge between my thumb and my forefinger. It also went up to my elbow. One by one, I pulled out a total of 8 different types and styles of gloves with varying lengths. I've noticed that you prefer for anyone not to be able to see your scars, so I ordered you different kinds of gloves you could wear, so you don't always have to wear your jackets or long-sleeve shirts. The different styles allow you to wear them with almost any type of outfit, so you could have a selection, he explained shyly as he buried his face into his ever-present scarf. Do you like them? I looked at the different gloves and smiled. In the blink of an eye, I had him the tightest hug I could give him without breaking his ribs or back. I accidentally knocked him off his chair, but neither of us noticed right away. I was happy, and we stayed put for a while. I'm glad you like them, he said in my ear. His chin had to rest on my shoulder. I love them, Vanya, I said, getting up. I helped the larger nation up and sat back in my seat. I started to inspect them closer while Ivan finished his meal. I was looking at one in particular when I noticed something about it. Hey, Vanya, this white glove is meant for a girl at a high-class party. I could not find long, sophisticated white gloves for a male, so I ordered this one instead, he said, taking a sip from his glass of wine. I guess it works. You can't really tell it's feminine until you see the base, I muttered as I studied the design at the bottom for a little longer. Deciding that I had spent enough time looking at the gloves, I packed them up and put them off to my side. Next, my sights set on the untouched glass of wine. I've had wine before when I visited France, so I wasn't new to it. I gently picked up the glass the way France taught me to and took a small sip. It was dry but sweet, kind of like a mix of strawberry and cherry. I liked it and took a bigger sip. Careful, Frederica. This type of wine has a higher alcohol content than most, he warned me. Okay, I said, putting it back down. I don't want to get drunk on our first date. That's trashy. Da, he said after a moment, and then he stood up. I hope you're not too full. We still have dessert. Really? Man, you are trying to make me fat, I teased him. He chuckled lightly and pulled something out of the toaster oven. They were 2 plates with a volcano-shaped chocolate cake and a scoop of mint ice cream on the side. I immediately recognized what the chocolate cake was. Is that lava cake? I asked excitedly. I know how much you like it, so I made a couple for our date, he said, setting the plate down in front of me. The toaster oven wasn't done, so it wouldn't melt the ice cream, but it did help keep the cake warm. Oh, Vanya, this is so sweet of you. I can't believe you went through all of this for me, I whispered, looking down. He put 3 fingers under my chin and tilted my head up. To konnichiwa do posha moja zin. That roughly translates to, yes, you certainly are the love of my life. He looked me in the eye as he spoke. I blushed a dark crimson and he smirked. Does my little sunflower know Russian? A little. I took a course during one of my college years. I stuttered. You are so much smarter than you let others believe. Why is that? He asked, dropping his hand. I felt a little disappointed when he did that, but didn't let it show. Easy. If I appear dumb, then the others won't fear me. If they don't fear me, they will not panic themselves into starting war with me. Me playing dumb protects all of us from any unnecessary wars started by fear, I explained and waved my hand. And besides, it's best to let your enemy underestimate you. Like I said, you are much smarter than you let others know. He laughed. Sometimes not showing off is the best course of action for everyone. I took a bite out of the cake. It was fantastic. Things are much more difficult for us than humans. Am I right? Not everyone can do this. Some of us can't do this without a lot of emotional support from others, he agreed. I always found it funny that those who need a lot of it will band together and somehow create more strength for one another. That's how emotions work. We bounce them off of each other, and the more they're reciprocated, the more they grow. Hate will fuel more hate. 2 people who love each other will continue to love each other as long as they continue to send out their love. If one person is happy, they generally make others happy by just being around them, and they make more people happy in turn. Works the same way for when someone is sad. That's just how emotions work. I shrugged and finished my cake and ice cream. Ivan stared at me for a long time before speaking. I have honestly never thought about it that way. I never thought about how emotions bounce, as you say. But why do the others still run from me when I try to make friends? Well, that's because other emotions that were previously there can block out emotions if they're strong enough. I bet if you sat down and played a game with them, or did a craft of some sort and kept up a positive attitude, and not that scary aura that you do that the others will eventually calm down in your presence. And when that happens, they will start to pick up on your emotions. I said between sips of wine. Perhaps you are right, he said thoughtfully. I am. It worked for Germany after World War II. I know it can work for you, I told him. My head was starting to feel fuzzy from the drink. It must really have been above normal alcohol levels to get me a little tipsy already. I truly hope so, he said, standing up. He held out his hand for me. In the meantime, we have one more thing to do. What? I asked as he led me into the living room. He turned on the CD player and a slow song began to play. He turned back to me and held my hands in his. He brought my hands to his lips and kissed them. Alfred, may I have this dance? Da, Fanya, I said with a small blush. I wrapped my arms around his neck. He gently placed his hands on my waist. Our dance was nothing big or extravagant or fancy. We swayed slowly in a circle. It was nice, calm, and peaceful. 2 words I never thought I would associate with us as a pair. I placed my head against his chest and heard his heart beat beneath. People believed he doesn't have a heart, but I knew better. It was steady, strong, and quiet, just like the person it belonged to. We danced together for the rest of the night until we had to go to bed. As far as first dates go, I think that went well. I know I'm looking forward to another. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.